Um, what can I say that hasn't already been said? I start every speech this way, and I'll say it again. I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't have to be here. You should not need another celebrity to tell you what we already know, which is this election shouldn't even be close. It just shouldn't. And when people ask me why I'm speaking out, the answer is pretty simple. I have 2 daughters, and from a very early age, I knew that I wanted to instill in them one thing, which was empathy and respect. And when we can't even get those basic tenets from a man who would be president of the United States of America, we have a big problem on our hands. I don't want my girls to go through another 4 years of chaos. I don't want them looking and seeing that you can be rewarded for being cruel, for being disrespectful, for being unkind, for being unhinged, for telling people dying to drink some bleach. I can't do it again. I'm tired. We're all tired. This has to be the end of this story. And it has to be the beginning of a new day. It has to be the beginning of a story in which America finally elects a woman as president of the United States. It's time. You've let us boys do it for 250 years. It's time. I want my girls to know that they can look up to this man's wife and see what real leadership looks like. See what generosity of the spirit and the soul looks like. See what it looks like when you serve the people, not yourself. That's what this is about. We have 6 days to get this done. I make a vow to you that I will be on the front lines every second of every day fighting. And it's going to be a fight. Okay? But we can do it. We will do it. And I promise you, we're not going to wake up the day after the election and say to our kids the way I did in tears, I'm sorry I failed you. No, not again. I'm going to look at my kids and say, one day, just like Kamala Harris, you too can be president of the United States. I love you guys. I'm going to hand the mic over to somebody far, far cooler than me. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Susan Rice.
Thank you. Well, good evening, everybody. This is the best looking canvas I've ever seen. You all look like America. You are America, and you are exactly why we are going to win the state of Nevada, and then we are going to win this election for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. You all know this is super close, and everything depends on getting out every last vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, and you are the way this gets done. The phone calls you are making, the doors that you will knock on, the friends and neighbors and relatives and everybody, co-workers that you talk to, and encourage to be sure that they get out and vote. Don't take anybody's vote for granted. No intention for granted. I had a good friend in another state who's been long committed to vote for Kamala Harris, and I'm like, so what's your plan? When are you going to vote? He says, well, I'm waiting for my ballot to come in the mail. This is like last week. And I said, well, wait a minute, are you sure in your state the ballot comes to you in the mail if you haven't asked for it? Yeah, I'm just waiting on it. I said, man, go to iwillvote.com and make sure that, you got it right. Turns out he was wrong. He was able to go out and early vote because we happened to have that conversation. I had assumed he was fine. So you can't take anything for granted, and what you are doing is so, so important. I've had the great privilege of serving over the last 30 years 3 presidents of the United States. I served 8 years under Bill Clinton, 8 years under Barack Obama as UN ambassador and national security advisor, and I had the great privilege to work with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as domestic policy advisor. And I've seen a lot of the most consequential decisions get made in the White House Situation Room, in the Oval Office, And I know that what we need in a president, in a commander-in-chief, is somebody who is smart, who is tough but thoughtful, who cares about the impact of their decisions on human beings, that has the national interest at heart, that trusts facts and science and evidence and good quality advice. And when we have that, doesn't mean the President of the United States never makes mistakes, but that they do it in the national interest with the best interest of the American people at heart. And that's Kamala Harris. That's Kamala Harris. She comes to the presidency with years of experience. By the way, more experience than Donald Trump came with, than Barack Obama came with, than George W. Bush came with, than Bill Clinton came with, than Jimmy Carter came with. She's been in the Situation Room. She's received the presidential daily briefing, the intelligence brief. She's met with over 150 foreign leaders. She's traveled to virtually every continent. She is ready. But above all, unlike Donald Trump, who can't tell the difference between our allies and our adversaries, who thinks that Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un of North Korea are our friends, who wants to terminate the Constitution and has no care for the rule of law, and who is so easily flattered and manipulated and even bribed by foreign leaders, he doesn't have the national interest at heart. He's got his own interests at heart. And we cannot afford, in a world of such complexity, to have somebody like Donald Trump back behind the resolute desk, who thinks our military are suckers and losers, who calls the United States of America the garbage can of the world. Can you imagine trash talking the United States like that? This man is not fit, but fortunately, because of you, we're not going to have to go to that movie again, okay? We're going to win this. We're going to have Kamala Harris sitting behind the desk in the Oval Office with her to-do list instead of Donald Trump's enemy list, taking care of our national security and doing the hard work every day for you. So thank you for doing the hard work. Thank you for doing the hard work over the next several days to get her elected, and your commitment, your dedication is invaluable. So thank you. And now, Grace.
Hi everyone, my name is Grace Greeley. I'm the Regional Organizing Director here in North Las Vegas. Thank you all for coming. It is my honor to introduce the second gentleman, soon to be first, yes. Doug Emhoff.
That's it? Thank you, Grace. Thanks for all you're doing. This is on? 6 days. So Susan, thank you for that. What she said, what Josh said. But look, this has been just 50 weeks. Let me try yours. Okay, that's better. All right, look, we got 6 days left. That's it. For the past almost 15 weeks, and it's only been 15 weeks. Right? So about 14 and a half weeks ago, when Joe Biden decided not to continue his campaign, we needed somebody to step up. And that person happened to be my wife, Kamala Harris. Nobody handed this to her. Nobody gave it to her. She got up there when we needed somebody to step up and become the best version of an already incredible woman. She did it. And she got the nomination. She consolidated and united the Democratic Party, picked a hell of a running mate in Tim Walz, gave an amazing DNC speech, high pressure, and everything she's done has been the utmost pressure and expectation. And, you know, I'd say listen to what Michelle Obama said about the double, triple standard that she's faced this entire time. She's done it with grace, with compassion, with confidence, And she has had our back the entire time. You saw that when she debated Donald Trump, kicked his ass in that debate, debunked all the lies that have been told about her all this time, got up on that stage, and now you haven't seen him back on that stage with her, right? There's a reason. Because she exposed him. All the things that Ambassador Rice was talking about that we are all seeing, we see. We need to convince your friends and neighbors right here in Nevada to see what is so patently obvious. When you just tell people, don't listen to the BS, the gaslighting, the misinformation, the disinformation, the commercials, that stuff's all there to confuse you. We know the truth. She's exposed the truth. So we need people in these last 5 or 6 days, when you're talking to them, just say, do the research. I've talked to people, and especially, it's like young men who are duped where they think, oh, he's so cool, he's fun, he's our friend. He's not your friend, folks. He is not your friend. This is all an act. It's been an act for a long time, and it's an illusion. It's all to make sure you're not seeing what they're trying to do. When we've already seen it. Bob's decision, those 3 Supreme Court justices who took your reproductive freedom away, women, and other freedoms would be next under this Supreme Court, and the kinds of folks that he would appoint if he comes back. Think of what they can do to your rights, not just women's rights. All of our rights are at risk. Okay, so people need to understand that. People need to understand that his buddies are people like Elon Musk. So his economic plan, why do you think you see Elon Musk out there jumping around? Because he's very happy if Donald Trump comes back. Why do you think billionaires are forcing newspapers that they own to withhold endorsements for Kamala Harris, which were coming? Right? Yeah, but it's also because Donald Trump's whole economic policy is cutting taxes for billionaires, and as Susan said, doing what they want, not what you want. This is what you need to tell your friends and neighbors right now. He's not there for you. He's there for Elon Musk and other billionaires who he will do their bidding. That's it. So people need to understand that. He's not your friend. He's not there for you. But there's good news. Because Kamala Harris is for you, and she's going to have policies that work for all of us. And you saw her last night. I have not really seen her for 14 and a half weeks. And when I do, it's literally, why are you here? Get back out on the road. We got an election to win. So I'm tired. I look like crap. I sound like crap, but I should, because that's what you're supposed to say. You don't look that bad, but I feel. But the reason is because I spent the last 14 and a half weeks traveling this great, amazing, awesome country of ours, and seeing the beauty of it, seeing how people hate the division. They are begging me, please make sure she brings the country together. I said, you know what? For the most part, the country is together. He's the one trying to divide it. You've heard what she said. I'm going to be the president for everyone. Doesn't matter if you vote for her or not, but vote for her. That's all I can hear. And she means that. Because when she said last night, again, I have not seen her. I got to ride in her car, seeing thousands of people lining the streets of D.C. cheering for her, my wife. 100,000 people showing up for her. I don't need this, but whatever. And then for her to get up there, and she said something I don't think I've ever heard her say publicly, but I know because I'm married to her. And our son Cole is here. He knows that too. Yes, he looks just like me. I get it. But she said, and this is so true, it is my instinct to protect. Remember she said that? It is her instinct to protect. That has been her entire career in public service, is for us, the people, protecting us, doing things for us, practical solutions, willing to listen, willing to take advice, willing to make sure that her policies meet the moment. And moments change. And that's what she's all about, practical solutions to hard problems. You worked with her. You saw it each and every day. When people say, well, is she, what are you talking about? She was an elected DA, an elected Attorney General, an elected United States Senator, and as Vice President for 4 years, as Susan said, you're in the Situation Room. You're in the Oval. You're traveling the country and traveling the world. She does not have to imagine what it would be like to be a world leader. She already is a world leader. So she is ready to be president right now. And watching her last night, because again, I have not got to see her rallies up close, although I will be here tomorrow for her rally here. I'm just looking up at her, trying to imagine myself not just as her husband, which I am, but as an American, as someone who loves this country so much, who wants to have a president that we can look up to, somebody that's not going to embarrass us on the world stage, but somebody who's going to represent us on the world stage. And looking up at her speech, I'm thinking, right there is not only my wife, but the next president of the United States. But we got to win right here. We won last time. It's going to be close. It shouldn't be. But we're going to win here in Nevada, and we're going to win this election. It's because of folks like you, talking to your friends and neighbors, making sure that they come out to vote. But iwillvote.com. It's got all the information. You got early voting for another couple of days here. Take advantage of that. And then let's just make sure those last 4 or 5 days, GOTV, get out the vote. Knock on those doors. Send those messages. And when I come back here, I will come back as first gentleman married to President Kamala Harris. Let's do this.